welcome back to another penny stock video, and in this video we're going to be covering merger speculation and research for the ticker GVSI. And for those who are not aware, GVSI is one of the most prolific shell companies on the OTC markets because it is a custodianship from the legend George Sharp, who was responsible for the TSMP Humble merger, which was obviously a TRIPS to dollar run, I believe the biggest run in the history of OTC markets. And so as a result, there's a lot of excitement around the ticker GVSI. It also has near-term catalysts of about 300 million shares being canceled, as well as a name and ticker change. So now people are really gearing into speculation mode, thinking that we have a merger on the horizon. And if that is the case, we could see some pretty explosive action on this stock. Just to go over the chart real quick before we begin, I had posted some chart analysis on Twitter. You can go to refer to that as well. If you just search ticker tag GVSI chart analysis, it should show up under the Super Robot tag on Twitter. And I discussed the levels there. You can see the stock took a little bit of a dump today, but it did hold this key level of 0.0148, which is our new support level here. And so as long as we hold this support, I am still quite bullish on this setup. I think there's a lot of room to the upside here. And we also have those near-term catalysts that I mentioned earlier. So that's a little bit of outline on the chart and what to expect from this. We have to hold this support line. I think it's very important. But now let's jump into the speculation regarding the merger that could be coming into GVSI. And there really hasn't been many clues at all about this merger and what it could be. George Sharp has done a very good job of keeping everything a mystery. But he did slip up a little bit in December of 2022, and we're going to be looking at that in a moment. And we're going to be basing a lot of our speculative research off of his little slip up. So, before we begin, I just want to preface this by saying, again, this is speculation. It is not confirmation of merger. And I am not a financial advisor. And you should not buy this stock just because of a merger speculation video. Make sure you make educated trades on the market. So, without further ado, let's jump into the merger speculation research here. And I've started off by compiling a few key aspects of this speculation onto this document here that we can review. And it all really begins here on December 15th, 2022. And this is where I feel George Sharp may have slipped up in terms of keeping things a secret. So he put out this tweet on December 15th, 2022 at 9:54 a.m. We'll add this to the over $200,000 I've already spent on GVSI, and he included a picture of an invoice for the bill he paid to OTC markets. Now you can see on this invoice there is an address here, and that is 455 Northeast 5th Avenue, Delray Beach, Florida. That address, as we're going to see in a moment, may be quite important to our research about this merger. And now this tweet he put out was actually deleted almost immediately. And then he posted a new tweet on the same day. And it was the same tweet, except this time the address is scribbled out. So why would he have deleted the original tweet and then reposted with the address scribbled out? Well, what's at that address? Well, that address is actually an office building in Florida. But the office building has one company in particular that catches our eye, which is Blockchain Ventures LLC. And the reason it catches our eye is because we know that GVSI is going to be name changing to American Blockchain. And we know that it's going to be a blockchain related merger. So the fact that we have a blockchain company at the same address that is listed on the invoice for GVSI, that gives us something to work with. So let's take a closer look at Blockchain Ventures LLC. Here's the official page listing for it. And we can see that the only officer and director listed, as well as the only registered agent, is the name Ryan J. Mueller. If we also look at the articles of organization from Florida, he's the only name as well, Ryan J. Mueller. So now we have to take a look at who is Ryan J. Mueller and what is he involved with. So here is Ryan J. Mueller on Twitter. You can go follow him at RJMRE And you can see that he's very into crypto stuff. NFTs, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, etc. Now let's take a look at Ryan J. Mueller on LinkedIn. And right off the bat in his description, we have blockchain and cryptocurrency consultant, Web3, DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, tokenization, and most importantly, ambassador for Propy. And so Propy looks like it could be our candidate for this GVSI merger. So let's take a look at a few reasons why I believe this, and then let's take a closer look at Propy themselves and what they do. So we see that outside of cryptocurrency, Ryan J. Mueller is also into luxury real estate and has his own real estate company. He is the ambassador for Propy Inc., and he's also the blockchain advisor for Bitcoin itself. So he's certainly well connected in the crypto scene. Seems like he's got a lot of money, and he's really the piece of the puzzle that we were looking for this whole time for this GVSI merger speculation. And we're going to see why here, because it's all in this company Propy. This is where we can really let the speculation begin. So why do we think it's Propy, aside from the link to Ryan J. Mueller? Well, if we take a look at another tweet from George Sharp in 2022, this time October 19th, 5:02 p.m., he tweeted, "This is what NFTs are about, not Bored Apes." And he quote tweeted this unusual Wales post talking about a house being sold on the blockchain as an NFT. So Propy is a real estate blockchain company. They have technology that allows them to sell real estate on the blockchain. So that's a very good start there. It very much fits the model George Sharp is referencing here. And it obviously fits into the Ryan J. Mueller piece, as he is the ambassador for Propy. And Ryan J. Mueller's LLC, Blockchain Ventures LLC, is the same address as the GVSI OTC Markets invoice. So that's where we're getting Propy from, and those are the steps we took to get to Propy. Now, another thing about Propy, and here they are on Twitter, is that this company is already familiar with the OTC to some degree. If we search CYIO Propy, you can see Propy liking a CYIO tweet. And the reason they did that is here's an old due diligence thread about CYIO from November 12th, 2021, and we can see that Propy partnered with Helio Lending, which was the CYIO company, for an NFT real estate partnership. So Propy has already, to some degree, worked with OTC companies and is familiar with OTC-listed companies. So that's important to note as well. If we go back to their Twitter, we can take a little bit more of a closer look into what Propy does. But before I show you that, let's take a look at one other little connection here between George Sharp, Ryan J. Mueller, and Propy. Here we have Blocks DAO. For those unfamiliar, Blocks had a partnership with Humble, which was obviously the TSNP merger, another George Sharp ticker. And what's really important to note here about Blocks is they're one of the few Twitter pages that George Sharp follows. If we take a look, he's only following 51 pages on Twitter. This is one of the few that he is following. And take a look at who else is following them. They're also followed by Ryan J. Mueller. So we can presume from this that, at the very least, Ryan J. Mueller and George Sharp have their eyes on similar cryptocurrency and blockchain projects. And again, with the connection with the address, and with the connection to Propy, and with the connection to Blocks, we're starting to see the puzzle pieces fit together here for this GVSI merger speculation. So now let's take a look at Propy. and what Propy does, and if Propy would even be a good merger, which it would be. Spoiler alert. So let's see a little closer look at Propy. Propy actually just hosted the AI, Web3, and Real Estate Summit in Miami. And if we scroll down a little bit, we can also see that Propy is retweeting Tim Draper. And you can see that Tim Draper's venture capital firm is invested into Propy. And we'll get into Tim Draper in just a moment and how big of a deal he is. If we scroll down a little more, we can see that
basically lost.
And this is the Propy CEO that tweeted this, by the way, retweeted by Propy, their own page. And you can see that at the AI Web3 and Real Estate Summit, which was hosted by Propy in Miami, Cathie Wood from ARK Invest was there, and she was a speaker. So they're clearly very well connected to a lot of big money in this scene. Between Cathie Wood and Tim Draper, those are pretty much the two biggest blockchain investors you can get. So that's a very big deal. Now let's take a look at this article from 2020 on TechCrunch. And we can see the headline is Propy, a blockchain verified platform for selling houses, raises funding from Tim Draper. Scroll down a little bit, it says right here, Propy has now raised an undisclosed funding round from venture capitalist investor Tim Draper, best known for his early investments into Tesla, Skype, Twitter, CoinDesk, and Robinhood. TechCrunch understands that is part of a wider ongoing fundraise. So they're raising funds and they have Tim Draper on board. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at Tim Draper. He's worth $1.2 billion as of 2022, as per Forbes. On his Wikipedia page, you can see his most prominent investments include Baidu, Hotmail, Skype, Tesla, SpaceX, AngelList, SolarCity, Ring, Twitter, DocuSign, Coinbase, Robinhood, Ancestry.com, Twitch, Cruise Automation, Pretty Litter, Focus Media. The point being, Tim Draper, very smart investor, and most of the things he touches turns to gold. So, now that we've covered all of that, that pretty much wraps it up for our due diligence on Propy. There is one more thing I'd like to show you. And so the last thing I'd like to show you for Propy here is if we go to Natalie Karayeva, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that name right, but she is the CEO of Propy. And this is a tweet from her June 3rd, 2021. And you can see there's a bit of a thread here, excited about Propy. And then a person asks, yes, and I think there have now been billions of dollars of sales on Propy. Can you confirm, Natalie? And so here's Natalie, the CEO, confirming. She says, yes, over $1 billion being transacted via Propy smart contracts, and over $2.5 billion bidding offers were sent via Propy this year alone. Thank you for your question. So we can see that's from 2021. I would assume the company has grown from there. And that's pretty much the majority of the stuff worth mentioning that we know about Propy right now. Again, we don't know if this is the merger or not. I'm just here to provide the research and try my best to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Everything in this video is purely speculative. It's not financial advice, and it's not a pump. Like, don't go slapping this just because, do your own research is my point. If you do your own research and you follow everything in this video and you also are led to believe that it's Propy and that makes you bullish, go for it. But make sure you're really putting the time in to do your own research and verify your sources and verify your information. And obviously, we will not know what the merger is until it is officially announced. But I hope you found value from this video, and I hope it showed you a little bit about the due diligence process that I go through for these penny stocks as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.